Whew. Finally, finally, finally. That's not like that though. Nope. There we go. I need all three of them. And we might as well activate it fully straight away. And then we have the fun job of going through all 25 spells. And making sure they work. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Already. Okay. So I'm pretty sure all the books work. First off, we should try crafting. So a book, a feather, and a glow ink sac should get us a spell tome. Perfect, and we get a basic spell tome with 2 empty slots for us to play around with. And of course, we can then add a shard of power to that. That gets us a advanced spell tome with 3 slots. So, fingers crossed the system actually works, and I can go ahead and add multiple things to this. So, I forget what's what. Pretty sure Silk Touch is like fixed, Mending is self, Multi-Shot is burst. I think Channeling is AoE. We'll try Infinity. We'll go ahead and drop the 2 books. The other one should get consumed. Perfect. And we get Incantation Direct. Perfect. And now we just have to pick out all of these. And this is the fun part, because I need to make sure that all 25 work before we do combinations or anything. That should be 25, right? Because that's 27. Okay, Poison, Earth, Bolt, Impact. We'll do it 5 at a time at Dark. Drop, drop. Perfect. Dark. That is not a good sign, because the scoreboard should be activated. So Dark is what's working-ish. Incantation Direct. That's on, so spelling's right. Why is it not adjusting my score, though? And spell tome. These slots. Let's try. Objectives. Set spikes. I might just be confused. Is casting. Nope, it's already there. The problem's already. No entity is fair. Oh. Lapis. Right? Yeah. Ah, damn Swix. I mean, it makes total sense. Okay, that's good. We have like a smoky effect, because we're using dark magic. And the actual spell looks good to me. 1 down. So I suppose I should be making sure they hit. Right. It should just do damage at this point. Perfect. So I just want to make sure everything works, and then we can start adding effects. So I've got 3 slots for each spell to actually make them do something unique. So far, all I've done is the damage or healing. But we also need, I need an open slot. And I'm going to need a lot more lapis. There's 25 books. I'd kind of like to do it orderly. So I almost want to separate them. Just like that. So I can do each school of magic. Right, that was dark. We'll make the other ones. I will put away. Yeah, I guess I'll put away. And we can change the. Well, no, I guess I've already made the direct. Yeah, you and you. Already do it. Don't miss it. I did. Yeah, impacts. F. Casting, casting. So far. So good. 2 down. Yeah, this is gonna be horrible. Hour or so. Just trying these all. Ugh. Nope, no, no, no. No, no, I got in time. Perfect. Okay, this is bolts. Cool. At least that one's easy enough to figure out. All we're going to do with that is hits anything, strikes them with lightning. Another time, and then that's the first 5 done. Pretty sure I can just drop it on the enchant tables too. I made the radius pretty large. Earth. We got like a blocky effect, and then we shoot a boulder-ish. 2 done. 3 done, 4 done, 4 done, 4 done. This one, poison. Sneeze effect, and sneeze ball. Done. I can probably get away with. If I just do rows, then I can just use 2 chests. Well, can I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's perfect. I can do it like that. Okay, so we're done with these. Next 5 is from water. Eldritch, heal, mend. Good thing too, though, is so far I'm happy with all the particles. None of them look too wonky. Might as well do 4 at once. One of them was wrong. I see that now. Okay. There's frost, so snowball. Perfect. Very good. Good. Okay, this is mend, which should be a water effect, which so far not working. Because none of them are activated. Mend. If I remember correctly, it should be near the top. Yeah, see mend. I haven't done the sound effect, that's fine. Why is this not working? Why not have the tag? You know what, it must be. It has to be this initial block first. Mend. Ah, right, they're not always active. Yeah, now we do. And I can shoot a mending ball of water. Particles are not too great on this one. I guess it's like a little splash. Or I could just up it, I suppose. Up that one. This one is On us, that was fine. This one is the actual particle. Up to 30. Doesn't really make a big difference. You know what? It's just like a splash. Fine. Mend is done as well. Heal. Arts is way too many in contrast. But, yeah. A heal. Overbearing is fine. Okay, this is Eldritch, so we've got the little Nautilus. Cool, I'm happy with that too. Mend, Heal, Eldritch, and Frost, and then there's one more. Give me a book back. Oh. Water. Not dolphin. So this needs to be distinct from that other one. It looks like it will be. Yeah, it's a lot more intense than the Mend. Which, depending on the effects I give, I could do something crafty with that. For instance, like, because it's so similar, people could get confused whether or not someone's healing or casting water. And then I could give water like a dangerous effect. Anyway, it's another 5 down. Where are we up to? We're up to fire. Siphon, hemorrhage, chaos, fire, siphon, hemorrhage, chaos, and terraform. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ooh. Okay. It must be a typing error. We can hear the effect. It's not changing the book, so I need to look into terraform. Chaos is fine. Hemorrhage is fine. Siphon is fine. And fire is fine. Yeah, so terraform. Why did terraform not work? Not only that, but now I have to find out exactly where it is. Nope. Bye bye. Lock. Which one's the good one to look at? The top one. Sulfur. Sound. Death. There we go. Hemorrhage. Chaos. It was before hemorrhage, wasn't it? It was the first one. No, it was the last one. Right. I added an ing for some reason. Should be 2 in each. 1, 2. 1. 2. Okay, so it should work now. Perfect. Okay, terraform. Lava. Perfect. And then I'm gonna say that's too many particles. This one's kind of tough because I'm not too sure what I should be using. Why is there 3 active? Interesting. 2 of them are locked. Right, because I didn't set up the back end. Where am I missing from? We do have a text. We do. Terraform does. This one doesn't. Fine. Tag. I think I got the dots. So it should be bracket to light. Please let me have the dots. Perfect. Keep losing place. So from the underscore to fill, we'll just leave the air. Don't need the space. Which means, why did this one not turn off? The other one did. There we go. Need to mend, cult, do about 3 at a time. What my brain can compute. Mend, occult, eldritch. And alt. And eldritch. 2, 3. So then we have pure, chaos, cleansing. Sort of works. Pure, chaos, and cleansing. U empty, W empty, perfect. Okay, so they should all work now. What were we doing? Right, we were contemplating lava. Try reducing it first. Problem is, it's not condensed. Not condensed enough. I swear I changed one up high. Anyway. Yeah, I did. No reason. What if we cut the spacing? Starters. I might have to slow it down to... I don't think you can make the animation much slower. Yeah, that's just... It's like a smoke screen. Which isn't horrible, but it's not great either. I'll say that's... It's just... I don't know, I don't like it. What else could we do for terraform? I was thinking like explosion, but then explosion's just as bad. I mean, I can make the impact one explosion. We'll bench this one for now. I'll just continue trying the other ones. Can we figure it out? This is siphon. This shulk. Like a weird corrosive bubbly effect. Eh. This one is chaos. So witch. Perfect. It's just like evil. Let's see. This is hemorrhage because of the redstone dust. Perfect. Should be fire. Also nice and simple. Siphon. I'll do it by hand. Chaos. Hemorrhage. And it still works. And we'll do that so I know there's one missing. Okay. 10 to go, right? Yeah. From gravity. Gravity, lock, void, bolt, and cleansing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if I like cleansing being part of the end spell group. Anyway, Q, 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 Q. That works too. Okay, cleansing. This one is also a bit weird. So the white ash is fine, but then the actual that. I mean, it's like seizure inducing, but at the same time for its effect, I think it's fine. Essentially, if you're in it, it'll just strip away all of the potion effects. I have thought out a lot of these, and yeah. So I think that's fine. Bolts. Cool. Void. I think this is squid ink. Yeah, so just like darkness. Gravity. Obviously, it's just going to be like shulk bullets. And then one more. Okay, let's see if I remember what this is. This looks like witch again. This is lock. But it's playing the witch particles, which should be reverse portal. That's reverse portal. This side. Reverse portal. Still reverse portal. But it looks exactly like the witch particle. Interesting. What about if we just use portal then? Instead of the energy feeding off, it feeds into? Right? Or is reverse portal the collecting one? Yeah, and then thickens up. Very similar to the witch one, which was, what, a cult? Yeah, it's fine. Okay, and then the last school is all. You need to have all four, I don't know what you want to call them, pedestals activated, and they start from pure. Pure, death, sulfur, sound, and gravity. Well, spectral, sorry. And I already know that sound is going to need to be reworked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've got 2 extra. Which is fine, because I want to play around and see if we can see how combination spells look. The particles come off decently. I do expect some to just eat the particles for the other ones. We can also probably decrease the time on this, because it's every 3 seconds is the crafting mechanism. I could probably make it smaller. Sorry, longer. Anyway. So this is spectral. This is sound. So this one's a bit tricky, because obviously I can't use Sonic Boom as the particle that plays off the person. So I don't mind this, like sound waves. But then I'm also tempted to make the particle different and then have the Sonic Boom only on collision. So that one's kind of like terraforming. You sort of need to examine it a bit closer. Okay, this one is sulfur, so it's just blue fire. Fairly simple. We have pure. Be like glow squid. Nice and bright. I mean, yeah, it'd probably be better to use something just completely white. There's nothing that I really know of. And then death. I can't remember what I used. Oh, yes, souls. Tempted to use shock soul because I prefer it. It to me looks kind of better. What is it? Particle. Soul. 100. Just because it has like the darker coloring. What I prefer. Instead of the brown. Kind of more deathy. Yeah. Okay. What is it? It's this one. Soul. Also not noticing a huge decrease in speed of this one, because this casting should really take longer than all the others. I did do remove right. Yep, it's removing. Is casting, perfect. How long does it take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, it does have a longer cast time. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. But it should do better damage. Right. Yeah, so it actually does a chunk of his HP. And this training dummy has 1000 HP? Plus, if you can get the sweet spot where it actually lands on him. Yeah, there we go. Huge chunk of damage. Don't like. Because if you can aim them all correctly, they linger for a little bit, meaning you can really sink them in. Anyway, that's another 4 done. The ones to look at are just terraform and sound. Okay, let's tackle sound first. So Sonic Boom, fine. We're using Shriek, which is also fine. I can't really use Shriek. Vibration is probably what I'm looking at. Oh, do you spell Shriek? Isn't it with a K? It's not. It's with a H. Like, this is not going to look right. Well, I guess it is also very secretive. So a person might not be able to see it clearly. And then when it hits something, it actually does the Sonic Boom. Alright, that's not too bad. I might increase the damage. Because obviously it does significantly less in comparison to like Death. But then Death is meant to. Like, I'd go the other way and I could just increase the cast speed, make it a quick cast. I think I have it on remove, don't I? On remove 1? Yeah. We'll change that to add, so it's actually faster. Essentially, it's just going to be a damage spell. On players, I will make it deafen them. So, I know I'll do like one of the goat sounds at 100. It's kind of scary to think, because this is only like 20 seconds to output. One chunk would be 100 HP. Granted, obviously, mobs aren't stationary, which is the big thing. What? Did that give me an effect? What does? What effect is it giving me? Can't see in time. I know why that is. I'm using ambient. Oh wow, I haven't cleaned up that side. Good. I'm using ambient effects. I'm using, was it 28? No, 26. Realistically, I just have to change the show particles, and then people will never really know. What is 26? I'm giving people luck. Actually, I don't mind that. So he could just cast at someone, and then have them mining. Okay, so that's better. Then there was one, terraform. Can't use lava. What can I use? Bubble pop doesn't really make it in line with the nether though. That's the whole thing. I could do lava. And then, well, sorry, not lava, but like dripping lava. It should look interesting to say the least. Do you want dripping or falling? I guess we just go through them. Till I find one I like. Yeah, no. To say the least. Granted, the spacing is still, yeah, the spacing's wrong. But I would assume this still doesn't make it look at all decent. If it didn't have the drip, that would be fine. Like if it was just stationary. Let's see what else we got. Falling is going to happen quicker. Yeah, I don't mind explosions. It's just that there's way too many. I guess I could do like fireworks into explosions. Falling, we might as well try it. Should be the same thing though, just at quicker speed. Yeah, just decays quicker. Landing lava. Interesting. I don't think I've actually looked at the landing variants. Still has the awful falling. Also need to decrease the cast speed at 1. So I have it perfectly worked out. If you have every spell and spell type on one book, you'll have max casting speed, which is like 50 seconds. But it's also like the ultimate spell, and I can just put that in a loot box. Smoke I've already used. Sweep attack, nothing really good. Landing doesn't work. We could use block lava. Flame. Just try fireworks. And then if it hits an explosion. The only issue is it doesn't carry the same weight as using terraform. Or I should say for its namesake. Because the whole idea behind terraforming is this is obviously going to be a digging spell. So ideally we want a particle effect that reflects that, while also is fiery themed, since this is in the nether group of spells. Plus, obviously, terraform itself, the name just implies like rocky. Do I just stick with lava? Let's have a look at it again. So 20, it's definitely way too big. I mean, you can still tell there's a path, which is fine. Yeah, it should be more condensed. To actually look like a missile. I mean, that's not horrible, to be honest. If I cut down on the amount of particles, it's like a lava wave. It's growing on me, to be honest. There's way too many. The particle count's too high. We'll halve it. I could increase the size or the spacing. That'd be doing the same thing. But half. Definitely less chaotic. At 1, it's gonna look like garbage. Yeah. Like a tiny little ember. You know what? I'm gonna leave it at 20. Let it cover you. What is also the speed? Speed is on remove. I need to find one that's add, and I need to reduce it. Chaos is meant to be a quick strike. Move. I should just look at my cheat sheet. Okay, so frost is +1. I need to make something -1. Fire is also +1. Hemorrhage is +1. I think hemorrhage needs to be quick. There's really not that many that are +1. Or I've already forgotten which one I changed. To be honest, I'd rather hemorrhage be +2. Considering it's not going to do much. So we're currently ahead 2 because I changed a -1 to a +1. And then I also want to add one more to hemorrhage, so that's +2. I could, means I can make something a bit slower. Can't really put death to 4, plus it's already slow enough. I could just make a few things 0. That would probably be the solution. I'd have to make 2 things 0. No, 1 thing. 3 things 0. 3 things 0. And I was meant to grab the book so I could tell. We are changing hemorrhage +2. Now we're +3. So if I just make the basic ones like frost, fire. I actually don't have that many spells that are positive. Funny enough. I guess I just make frost -1 and I make fire neutral. I should also just be grabbing a copy. That'll make this easier. I can just ditch the book. Frost. Now, -1 also means I could increase the damage technically to balance out the fact that it's slower. I'll just make it 2 seconds so it does double damage. Okay, so frost is -1. I will put siphon down to 1. Come on, where are you? There we are. Okay, so siphon down to 1. Perfect. Okay, so the last thing to try is mixing spells. You know what? Let's just do pure death. I can drop you, enchant. Perfect. Drop you. Drop you. Perfect. And also just to make sure that there's no looping, because it should only replace empty slots. This should never trigger. Perfect. Now if we equip it, there should be 2 lines activated because we have 2 spells. So far so good. And now if we cast it, we should see 2 particle effects on us, souls and the glow, and then the actual projectile should have 2 particle effects as well. Which it does. Kinda mesh weird though. Not really like enough room for overlap. Plus because of the spacing difference, they lag. And their own particle speed. Okay, and technically this should do no damage because pure heals and is only good for undead. Casting speed should also be significantly slower because these are the 2 slowest spells, which we see is reflected. Yeah, so he took no damage because he healed. Anyway, combinations work. Well, I guess the other thing to try is combinations of casting. Plus we might as well. Okay, so there's 25 spells and there's 5, so I have to give a book 30 empty slots for it to be useful. It has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. Yeah. What am I doing? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. This book should now have enough space for every type of spell. Let's see what happens. I'm pretty sure it's going to be too many particles. But where's the fun? Okay, so first off, we need to give it all the incantations. We did direct, which was infinity, so I need to give it channeling, multi-shot, silk touch, and mending. One, 2, 3, 4. Not that we can really see it, right? We can. So it's got all types of incantations. Domain, burst, self, and fixed. So if we equip it, everything should be activated. Perfect. I can get rid of the side, which means I could change the casting speed. But I like having direct as its own casting speed. Okay. Now, we just need to add every single charm to it. We also need a lot of lapis, because each cast will cost a substantial amount. Poison, earth, bolt, impact, dark, water, eldritch, heal, mend, void, block, gravity, terraform, chaos, hemorrhage, siphon, fire, frost, occult. I'm pretty sure I've gotten them all. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Drop the book. I am too high. Sorry, too low. 1. No, 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 no. Thank God. Calm earth, perfect. 2. 3. 4. 5. Ash! I don't want to double down. Take it slow. Okay, so that's 10 down. Let's take a look, shall we? So 64, it should cost us a lot. It should... Well, it's actually balanced pretty well. There are just particles galore. Yeah, okay. There's a little bit of lag. I think everything on it except Self would be really good. Self just sort of makes it like a joke book, because now obviously it's all the effects would damage you, and you probably... Oh, you're not going to die. But there are definitely going to be some issues. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, I'm only doing 9 at a time. Nine, 18, and 7 is 25. Okay, so it has every possible spell. Should be at a -11, so it should take us... No, so I've messed up the math somewhere. So if we were at -11, we'd be able to cast. We must be over that. Which is actually good, because it means we're under, meaning I can most likely increase the speed of some things. If I could find them. Is there any one of them that I can actually see? I would like to find Siphon, that's the first one to really change. Be around here, shouldn't it? Spectral, there Siphon. This can go back up to 2. Can we cast yet? Okay, so we must be exactly 22, since obviously it's even, meaning we have to increase one more thing by 1. So Frost, I can most likely change back, or I can just make it 0. Poison, well, actually, you know what? I'll make Poison the quickest cast. Perfect. Should take about 50 seconds to cast, all of which we look like this. Come on, we're almost at 1,000. Interesting. So, I'm a bit confused as to why they're lingering. Unless they're condensed enough that they're giving each other particle effects. And, like, where did that fire come from? As well. Because I have it blacklisted so that it doesn't trigger off itself. Plus the cooldown on this spell also seems a bit whack. I'm very intrigued with what I've just done. Kill at E tag equals spell. Yeah, so those entities were lingering. Which I can only assume is because they're reapplying their effects to one another, which is a bit of a hassle. So I need to set the reapplication time to far greater than... Essentially, they shouldn't be applying effects. So that's how my like timer mechanism kicks in to destroy them. Area, effect cloud. We need to look at the NBT data. Area effect cloud. So where does reapplication delay go? Okay, it's nice and easy. It's on the end, meaning I don't have to add it to each bracket. Yes, I do. I need to add it to the square brackets. Right, it should be in the same bracket as the particle. Arm stand, tag, active effects. Wait. No, I'm not summoning area effect clouds. But I am doing damage through effects, and some of these have 2 seconds. So I just need to blacklist spell. From every single one of these, and then that should allow us to cast it freely without being any duplication issues. Also, like a good thing to note is, like, that's horrible, but it's still under 20. So having these all activated is bad, but it's not as bad as I thought. Like, there's no tick lag. I'm sure if I go to the surface, maybe, and there's entities, although we're still not dropping under 20. Like, I can still hit everything and have it responsive. But I've definitely capped out the system, so there is nothing else I can do to it to add anything. Hi, Mindstone. Hi, Prototype. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself. Yes, it is. It is a lot of command blocks. There's only a little bit more, and then I'm done. I just have to finish this system, which we're super close. And then... I still have the loot boxes to finish as well. But I was just looking at the data to see if I am close-ish to crashing the game. This is my spellbook system. So, we'll put that aside for now. In fact, we'll put it in here. I have all these spell tomes, and you can see they've got empty slot, incantation, charm, and I can use these to cast spells using our new enchant system here, which I'll show you from scratch because it's pretty cool. So we delete the end crystal. I can actually clear my inventory. So we need an end crystal. I've already put the obsidian enchant down. And then Heart of the Sea, Totem of Undying, Nether Star, and Elytra. So you need 4 enchant tables, an end crystal, and then you need to offer it up different ingredients to unlock certain spells. So for instance, Heart of the Sea unlocks water or ocean type spells. So now that conduit's like active, and we can enchant our books to have certain spells. I think the grouping's here. So for instance, water is Mend, Eldritch, Heal, Frost, and Water. And of course, if we give it the other items, Totem of Undying unlocks the overworld spells. Nether Star, Nether, Elytra, End. And then from there, we can go ahead and craft our spell books using a book, feather, and glowing sack. We go ahead and drop them all anywhere nearby. They get converted into a 2-slot spell tome, or a basic spell tome. And from there, you can take it a step further and use my shards of power, which are crafted a different way. Oh, not there. Sorry, has to be on here. And then we get a advanced spell tome. So now with these 2 spell books, we can build our different spells. And there's 2 categories. So first off, you need an enchanting book, Mending, Silk Touch, Multi-Shot, Channeling, or Infinity. These all add in the casting type or the incantation type. So for instance, if I take the Infinity book, I grab out our spell, Drop it. Drop the enchanting book. Our spellbook now has Incantation Direct. So this is the type of spell we're casting. And then I need to obviously imbue it with an element. So for instance, if we do, I know, poison. Oh, do it this way so I don't lose it. We now have a basic spell tome with Incantation Direct and Charm Poison. Equip it into our offhand. And... ooh. Should be active, right? The line is active. Perfect. But I think I need to relog. I think my testing before crushed it. Or not. Essentially, a scoreboard should be coming up. But I was playing around with this one, which was really bad idea, because this one is all the spells active. Just like a joke thing. But it should be functioning correctly. No entity found. Oh right, no. My mistake. Someone gave me the suggestion to make a cost lapis, and it trips me up every time. I keep forgetting that I need lapis to cast spells. It's really annoying, but obviously it makes sense because obviously use them for enchanting, so to cast spells. So anyway, so here's our Incantation Direct, our Charm Poison. Shift, you can see the timer's going up. Granted, obviously a player won't see this, and we cast our little poison spell. And you can also see there's some particle effects to indicate that we're casting. So that's like the poison effects, and then our cast. And of course, that one only had 2 empty slots. So for instance, this has 3. So now we could, for instance, pick out, you know, multiple incantation types or multiple charms. And therefore we have 25 by 5 combinations. And there's tons. Well, each spell type, so each row is for a spell type. So for instance, this book has Pure on it. So if I equip it, see that one lights up. This is what's checking that we can cast this type of spell. And then each incantation type or casting type has its own. So for instance, Direct. So this is now active. So this tells us that the projectile is going to be direct. There are a few other types. For instance, I do like channeling. I think channeling looks the coolest. We take out channeling, we've got our 3 spot tome, so we can give it 2 things actually, for instance, this one. So for instance, we might give it, I don't know, fire and frost. If we go ahead, drop our advanced spell tome, our enchanted book, eat it up, and we get incantation domain, drop it, drop our fire charm, and then drop our frost charm. And now we have incantation domain with 2 charms. Because it's trying to cast, but because we didn't have lapis, it doesn't actually add it. So I don't know if I can get it again. Essentially, it's subtracting before it can go up. The way the scoreboard works is a little bit complex. Essentially, I'm adding 22 and then minusing 10, because then this gives me 11 points to play around with, meaning that I can give a spell up to -11, so 21 out of 22, and that increases the cast time. Similarly, I can give it an increased time to make the spell cast quicker. That way, for instance, this book, this god-awful book, see how slow the casting is going up? This should take around 50 seconds to cast because it has every spell type on it. Whereas this one that only has 2 should be a lot quicker. Ooh, and this is domain. So it should actually I'll go. Oh, and you have to stay still. So if I move, you can see the time is going down, and you can't cast. You have to stay still. You can like strafe cast, but you do have to stay stationary for the casting to actually work. And then if we get to 100, domain, so it's an AoE. And you can see it's got both the fire and the snowflakes because it has both fire and frost. This is going to be a map. So this is one system. There are plethora. Ta-da! Keeps going. And essentially it's all, this is my version of a mod, because I can't code. I don't have any computer science background. This is the best I can do. But yeah, this is my version of Minecraft, if you will. So for instance, that's the magic system. We also have a range system. So you have a dragon head in your offhand, and then a bow with spectral arrows. Ooh. We can now shoot special arrows. Get rid of the head. It's normal. Equip it again. And there's 12 of these and 2 slots. So it's 12 by 11. So what, 121 combinations here? Did I do the math right? 11 11s is 121, isn't it? So I'm off by 44, 32. There's 132 combinations for bow abilities, which is pretty neat. Spells is obviously a lot more. I want to have the best book have 6 slots, meaning you can use 5 by 25, by 24, by 23, by 22, by 21, by 20, which is a lot of spell combinations. Of course, then there's got to be a melee system to balance it all out. So down here, you can make vials. So if you combine a candle, warped root, and a thick potion, giving a use to thick potions for whatever reason. Obviously, Mojang is just, they don't care about them. So I thought we'd do something with purple candles, warped roots. Gets grind up into a new potion, poison with curse. We can equip it into our offhand. Our hand should start to glow. And then if we hit, you see we did a huge chunk of damage. Essentially, we put a curse on him, reduced his HP by 20%. And then after about 30 seconds, the potion is cleared from our inventory. So it's destroyed, so they're like consumables. This is going to be... how do we put it? Oh, there goes the potion. It is an open world adventure map. So the whole idea is you download the map, you start in this hub area. Obviously, I will cover everything, make it more of a tutorial, and then you can toggle on whatever settings you want to play with. So there's the majority of things are toggleable. So you can add curses to the game. These just spawn randomly and do bad stuff. Difficulty curve, the longer you live, the harder the world gets. Seasons, mob multiplier, daily events, mob promotion, so elite mob spawning, sort of like Diablo-esque. Block effects, so if you're on grass or farmland, certain things happen. Weapon effects, if you want some extra particle effects. These 3 are more to do with lag, is why they're toggleable. So not everyone will be able to play with everything activated. For instance, you saw this page right here. Down in the right-hand corner is TPS, so ticks per second. If that drops below 20, that's where you see like lag. That's cool to hear. What's your map like? Prototype? And then the main thing is leave the hub. I'm probably going to get rid of the codex. Come up with a different system to give the player information. But you can click it and then you can spread out. So it's set to a huge range, so everyone can have a different gameplay experience. I'm making a working D&D server. Cool. So I'm gonna need magic too. All in all, the system's fairly simple. The casting mechanism is probably the most complex bit, which is like these 2 chains. Then the actual projectiles and the detection is not too bad. I would say if you really want to do command block stuff, I would do it in Java. Java just has a lot more accessible features, and it's also a lot more user-friendly in terms of syntax and helping you out. Obviously, we have like color coordination, we have tab to complete sentences, which you have in chat, but you don't have in command blocks for whatever reason in Bedrock. With dice rolls and turn-based combat. Yeah, so that would make this a lot simpler, to be honest. Because if you're doing like turn-based, you could cut out the whole casting mechanism because you don't need that. You just call upon the projectiles and then whatever elements. All in all, that would cut down on a lot of things because you would just be able to summon a bunch of stuff. Well, the devs are doing a lot to make the command similar. Yes, they are, but they're not at the same time. That makes sense. So the biggest issue with Bedrock is the lack of ability to edit NBT data. That's what sort of opens up a lot of the complex command block stuff. Granted, you do also have a few commands that are better than Java, but I don't think they'll ever make functionality for Bedrock. You gotta a sad thing to think about is you gotta think. For instance, why is there so many different types of Minecraft? Why are they not standardized across all their updates? And that's simply put because if they did that, then everyone would just play one. They want, a slight of enough difference to make people do both. All right, prototype. Yeah, but see, this is where Bedrock is a good starting point because a lot of the basic commands you've learned in Bedrock, and then it's just about advancing your understanding and coming up with more complex arguments. Because the biggest thing with Java is the fact that you can use selectors, you can use NPD data, and that just allows you to pinpoint commands and focus them. And it's just learning that syntax. I mean, it just practice is perfect. I started doing this halfway through last. Oh no, it's still this year. Sorry, halfway through 2022, and have just been putting bits and pieces together. And you can see it definitely throughout my builds. For instance, this is like a tower defense system, and it's tiny, and all of its mechanisms are very simple. And then as I've developed, I've made more and more complex projects. But it is almost culminating till... Ugh, it's almost done, is what I'm trying to say, which is good, because then I finally get to play it. And that's all I've really wanted, is just to play it. The first bit I started with was... let me finish pasting these and I'll show you. It was essentially a mob improvement system. When I first started this map, I had two ideas. One, I wanted to make boss mobs. Two, I wanted to give every mob their own abilities. So that's all I started with when I first made this. And it was just this tower. It was all it was. And it wasn't even this tall. It was just this bottom segment. And like these are all, I think, 2 command combos. And all they do is they put in chat an ability and then cause an effect. So for instance, now that's some high quality mushroom stew. Stew. There should be no R in that, right? I need to look up stew now. But yeah, it's just learning in steps and stages. That's the best thing it is. There is no R. Damn it. So now I have to rip this apart. Stew. Stew. And there's yeah, it's stew. Out of all the ones I decided to click, it had to be this one. Okay. Oh, don't lose it. It's this row, stew. Ooh. But yeah, so if I summon a mushroom, we go ahead and we lock him up somewhere. So And we just wait with him. Eventually his ability will trigger. I think it's every 8 seconds there's a 25% chance that they'll use an ability. If they have more abilities, obviously it happens more frequently. Passive mobs have 1 ability. Neutral mobs have 2. Hostile mobs have 3. And then boss mobs have 4. And when I say boss mobs, I don't mean the Wither, Ender Dragon, or... Actually, no, I gave the Warden some. I didn't change the Wither or Ender Dragon. Let me grab a Husk, because I have 3, so it's pretty easier to see him use something. But it's... I mean, this is what I wanted. I just wanted a chance event. So you're fighting a Husk, and it might not use it. And then all of a sudden it might use an ability. And so forth and so on. There we go. So it used Deadly Bite, and you saw it. It sort of bit the mushroom. Little damage tip. What do you do? The Husk takes a bite out of everything nearby. So if we were in survival, we would have taken damage too. Here's my... I got my dragon head. Burn. Once I cast. Okay. Yeah, so then I started with that. I started doing the bosses. There's 12 bosses. Then I started thinking, well, I'm in for a penny. I might as well go all out. And we started making different multi-block structures, a way to get mob eggs, a way to actually spawn mobs without a spawner, rock crushers. I think if I drop cobblestone onto this, I don't know if it's activated. What? Nope. Ooh. Yeah, no, I think I need a item frame on top of it. I can't remember. Or is cobblestone not? No, cobblestone's here. Yeah, so the whole idea is you just start in this place, and then you're free to do whatever you want. This is all chunk loaded, so it will always run no matter where you are. If you're in the nether, in the end, everything will function. And you just explore, you just play like normal. And bad stuff will happen occasionally, and you just have to be okay with it. Like, tougher mobs will spawn. All the bosses have circumstances where they can spawn naturally. So the structures... Do I need anything? Let me put stuff away, clear my inventory, and then we'll take a look. You are missing a book. What book are you missing? You're missing Pure. And then where's my book of everything? Poison is in here somewhere. You're all fine. You're not missing anything. Perfect. Okay, command block. So, there is a little bit of a hassle you have to get around first. So, for instance, you can use execute at entity, and then from there you can use an if statement to find blocks. So, you have to do block by block, which is the bit of the annoying thing. So, you know, if you wanted a 3x3 structure, you'd need to do if block in each direction around the entity. So, it has to be, you know, in the X direction, then it has to be in the next direction. You can just do like cobblestone. Cobblestone. Run, say hi. So for instance now, if there's cobblestone to my positive X, it's going to say hi, and this allows me to detect structures because I can just make it more complex. So as long as we're here, it says hi. For anywhere else, it doesn't. So I can detect blocks. And from there, you know, you build upon it. So for instance, this detects all 4 enchanting tables in the position relative to the end crystal, because this is the entity. And you'll notice a lot of my structures use an entity in some way. So a lot of times I get around it with item frames. So if there's an item frame, then it's going to run the effect because it can target the item frame as the entity using execute at entity type equals item frame, or in this case, Klloo item frame, and then we can use if blocks to determine the blocks around it. So this means that the blocks relative to the item frame have to match whatever we set. So for instance, I can determine this whole structure. There needs to be a amethyst cluster 2 blocks below. There has to be granite stairs in each direction, so 1A. So X positive, X negative, Z positive, Z negative. And I can use that to construct these different constructs. And obviously, for more complex structures like this, it's going to take a lot more command blocks. So for instance, this is a ore crusher with 3 speeds, depending on if you use gunpowder, heart of the sea, or nether star. We might as well just use the nether star. And then we can go ahead and chuck in coal, any of the ore blocks. You can see it's collecting particles to show it's working. It'll just slowly crush the coal, and you'll get a bit of a higher amount out of it. So that's the last thing I'm going to build, and there's 2 ways I've thought about doing it. One, there will be a button or a grace period, if you will, where they'll spawn, and that's very simple because all you do is you target a random entity. So for instance, I could execute at every bat in the world and then spawn in a structure, and I don't have to use data packs or the structure packs or anything like that. I can do it manually, and that's fine. But the issue is I don't want to run into the circumstance where obviously someone's playing, they've built stuff, and all of a sudden a structure spawns in the middle of their building. So either I make an initial button, you click it, and it spawns a few structures around, or 2, I was thinking of doing something similar to Vault Hunters, if you've seen that, by Iskall, where you can generate a randomized dungeon. And that system's going to be super simple, because I've built the randomizer I'm going to use. So if I set display, sidebar, randomizer, you can see just to my right hand, it's picking a number randomly between 1 to 16 every half a second, so every 10 ticks. And I can use this to build random structures. I can use this to do a lot of things. In fact, this is how I do loot boxes and villager mechanics. But yeah, essentially, I think I'm more inclined to go down that route, so it's not intrusive to the player. So you find an item, and it allows you to spawn in a dungeon, which I'll probably just end up building on top of the nether, since, it's nice open. The majority of people won't build there, and I can teleport the player in and out, and then just clean it up. But that's probably the last thing I'm going to build. I would like tutorial structures. Yes. I don't know what they're called either. So that's the structure packets I'm talking about. The issue is I want to make this hassle-free to download. So I think, yeah, jigsaw blocks. You beat me to it. So you set up a template structure in a data pack, and jigsaw blocks can call upon those structures. The issue with that is, again, I want to make it as hassle-free as possible. All you need to play this map is to download the world. I don't want data packs. I don't want any confusion. I want it to be old school. I want it to be an old school map where you download the world, you play the world, you're good to go. And there's nothing on the back end you need to figure out, you need to install. Because again, it doesn't matter people's exposure, because obviously data packs are more commonplace now, but there's still going to be people out there who don't understand what they are, don't understand how to install them. So I would rather this giant hub that does everything, because a lot of these systems could be put into data packs. And it would have made it all a lot easier. But again, I like this concept. This is my building, you can see it. If you play my world, you start here, you can revisit the hub by sacrificing blue shiny rocks. So, yeah, I'm trying to avoid all of that type of stuff. Granted, if I end up working on another project, I'll probably end up developing my understanding, because that's another thing. I started from zero. I didn't have any big understanding of redstone or command blocks, and I've just slowly built this from scratch. So to teach myself data packs, the jigsaw block mechanics, all of that, obviously would take more time, would impede progress, and would probably shape the map completely differently, and I didn't want that. So this map is just 100% a world file. You download the world file, and you're good to go. And in saying that, like, generating structures, you can do it with command blocks. Nothing stopped you. People build computers with just redstone. It's just the amount of time you spend on it. Like, data packs just make it easier. Yes, but I would still have to tamper with them. And again, the way they're set up is, so the data pack is not just commands, which is what the majority of people use. It includes the achievements, the advancements, the structures. Essentially, it is just a blank template of the world file that it loads up in packets. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen like old school bucket servers. That's essentially the same mechanic where they merge the files with the world to generate different things, which still makes it a headache. And a lot could go wrong. Because, again, I don't have the understanding. So for me to edit it, and also the big thing is editing these structures, so the same way like a woodland mansion spawns or an ocean monument spawns, I would need to learn about that. I would need to understand what Mojang does to determine where to spawn those, for me to actually be able to write it in a code sense to merge with the world file. I would rather use what I know, which is command blocks. So I need to test this again. F, and I need lapis. I mean, the best thing to do is always start simple and work your way up. Do what you can, finish a project, even if it's not exactly what you want to make, but just get the understanding, develop the skills, and then progress. Check this back to is casting. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so this is the Omega book. It has every type of spell, every type of casting. Essentially, it's just a particle dump. Should take about 50 seconds to cast. But we just want to make sure that the particles die off. Still don't understand what it's lighting. And it doesn't look like it's going to die off. So there's still something I need to clean up. Slag. My understanding will be one of these. Yeah, so this needs to be spell. Tag equals spell. Need to blacklist it so it doesn't give its effect. So this should be. I still don't understand why it's lighting by, because this should have marker somewhere in it. It should have both the armor stand and the marker blacklisted. Yeah. Yeah, let's try again. Right, I used up all my lapis casting it. Essentially, this will probably just be a joke item because it will crash things. They should despawn. Eventually. They're not, though. Don't quite understand. I'll look at it later. Other one I want to just look at is... I want... How many slots? 6 slots is going to be the maximum. 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want to see how much lag 6 slots causes. So this has 3. If we add 3 more to it, that'll be 6. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. And we will do. Mending itself, Silk Touch is fixed, I believe, but not in this pocket. Yeah. And I don't know. Heal. Do all good stuff. Heal, mend. Cure. Order. Welcome back, prototype. And lock. Lovely. Yeah, so 6 slots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, so it's got self. Oh, mending is self. Silk touch. Right, mending is fixed. So with this equipped, there is going to be 5 different spells activated, and in terms of lag, it's not bad. We're still in the yellowish, which is good. As for the look of the spell, right, I need lapis. Not a big fan of the heal particles, but it works. And they decay. I'm still not sure what's going on with the other ones. Yes, I will do the building as well. One-man team. Granted, there's not going to be a lot of building. Because the hub will be... They'll go. Essentially, it will just be... Is it F3Gs? Yeah, there we go. So the hub is 4 chunks. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's all I have to build. I just have to build like a tower. Yeah, you gotta start somewhere. Plus, it's kind of easier. I'm a bit of a control freak, to be honest. It just gives me something to do. It's a good little hobby, pet project. Okay, so lag check is fine. All the animations are fine. Everything laid out, so I can clear. Right, now, space station. Don't really think that fits the theme. Wizards in space. I could do something with that. Okay, so we have 3 slots for each spell's effect. Currently they only do damage or healing, but we can make it a bit more specific. So poison, nice and easy, we're just inflicting a tag. We just need Well, I think if it's my map, I get to say. But yes, I suppose that's... Because it's kind of way too big now for like a wizard's tower. And it's sort of already got the shape. You know, you'd have the... I don't even know what they're called. Then up and down. Live action or anime? Like, are you... Because that's essentially the premise of Cowboy Bebop. Was it the live action version of Cowboy Bebop on Netflix? And also, Mindstone, what's your map? I'm always interested to hear what other people are doing. 1899. Let's take a look-see. Immigrants on a spaceship traveling from London to New York. Yeah, let's try again. Immigrants on a spaceship traveling from London to I still can't say New York. The Y and the N get confused in my brain. Get caught up in a mysterious riddle after finding a second vessel adrift on the open sea. Interesting. Well, the reviews are good. It's so hard to get. Yeah, I straight away seemed like Black Mirror to me. Oh, that's cool, Mindstone. So there's just like tasks you constantly have to do. And obviously if you stop, you lose. Something like that. That's a decent game idea. Yes, I prefer like sitcoms and comedies, or you know, something with a linear story. Yes, yes, prototype. Not your D&D map. I mean, what's Mindstone doing? Okay, so first things first, I need the template. All good. Where did I write the templates? Doesn't matter, I'll write a new one. So we're executing at E, where at E is white blacklist. Yeah, data packs. Data packs are something. So obviously it's the same structure as command blocks, but you need to chain them together like you're actually coding. So not for me, because again, no computer science background. So I mean, you'll find someone eventually, I'm sure. Or just work at it and, you know, develop your own skills. Yeah, but I need to build like a giant map, and we have a trillion things in the scoreboard. Yeah, because you need what? You need to create an objective for everything Mindstone, for every little task, and then use them as like toggles for whether or not it's happening. See, this initial map idea was going to be a closed off. In fact, you know what? Yeah, just quickly. What is it? This one. So this was the initial idea for the map, and I definitely bit off more than I could chew. So you can see bedrock walls, and it was just a enclosed space. And essentially, I wanted to make just dungeons all over the map. But it is so much harder to make like set command blocks for things than to just do what I'm doing and have a open concept that just has a bunch of simpler systems all feeding into one another. So like each of these towers is just for this little dungeon. Pretty sure the dungeon still works. I can find a way down. And then also building. Like it's too hard to do both. Yeah, so we can enter. It's hardly fleshed out too. It was a good first attempt, but I definitely enjoy what I'm making now instead of trying to do the whole big map sort of game style of things. It just allows me to be more creative too, because I don't have to keep to a set structure. I did like the building. I think one boss works, this one up here. That's somewhat broken. Am I on peaceful? Is that why? Yeah, I'm on peaceful. But even for like this, so this would be similar to your concept Mindstone, where you have, you know, one little component running one little aspect, and that's just, ooh, that was a headache. Yeah, it kind of sucks. Because it's like, Minecraft adventure maps are a two-person job. You want a builder, and then you want a redstoner. Good to hear, prototype. Especially with the map you're making. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, this will probably be pretty bland. It'll just be white all over. I don't know. Well, I'll think about it when I think about it. Just have to finish off these systems. So, anyway. Execute at the Trident. If entity distance blah blah blah. And then just run. Yeah, sure. I'd love to check out other projects. There's always something you can sort of learn. And I will definitely need a break. I've spent months on this. I mean, ages since I've actually played Minecraft. Yeah, it's definitely good to have both skills, Mindstone. But like we said earlier, you sort of end up not being able to because you have to focus on one first, and then you kind of get burnt out. At least in from my perspective. Like before I swap to building, I'm definitely gonna have to take a little bit of a break from this, just to get my mind out of all this mechanism stuff. But yeah, if you can do both, hats off to you. Okay, and then we're running whatever. What do you hate about Bedrock? You tell me yours and I'll tell you mine. particle command. Interesting. I haven't played around with it on Bedrock. I'm going to assume it's not as customizable as on Java. For me, I just hate the command block UI. The UI on Bedrock is awful. Right, okay, so you have to do each particle. You can't increase the count like you can on Java. Yeah, so that's the issue, is there's just not a lot of customization on Bedrock. You need to fine tune each command per system. Whereas this, I can obviously add all the NBT data I want in one command block. Okay, first up, we have Poison. Do I need a sound effect? Probably do the sound effects last. I know they'll all have at least one. In most cases, they'll have two, and some will have three. Should be changing these to conditional. I gotta love copy pasting. Once you like really get into Java, you won't want to go back to Bedrock. I think I did like one little project on Bedrock, and then I decided to use Java, and I've never been back since. Okay, I know Poison runs a tag. I kind of need my list. Should also probably just do this quickly. Gravity. Do I have the correct order somewhere so I don't have to go back and forth? I do. Gravity, impact. Frost. I do really wish they'd standardize them. The other thing too, if they just cut down and made one to focus on, imagine all the features we could get. They could actually finish stuff instead. Like no offense to Mojang, I always find the mob votes so stupid. Like, is it really so hard to put 3 mobs into an update? Like, do they really need all this work for one? Yeah, that's true. Like, they've dug their own grave at this point. They can't undo it for that exact reason. Oh well, a man can dream. Water. Hemorrhage. Why did I pick hemorrhage? It's way too long. Heal. Earth. Storm. Fencing. Chaos. Cure. Leverage. Alt. And mend. Okay, the first one's going to be super simple. Add tag. That should just be Venom. If I remember correctly. I have all these stats effects down here that I can play around with. Poison is going to add Venom, also have Toxic, Infest, Chill, Bane. I feel like Bane is like the normal poison. Yeah, they since Microsoft has taken over, it's really sad to see because they push small things and unfinished things. And the whole premise is they just hype up the next thing rather than going back and utilizing features they've implemented. Like the attribute system. They rebalanced everything, you know, gave it workable attributes you can play around with on Java, and then they did nothing with it. Like I had to come up with a system to tinker. So like this is 8 attack, 1.6 attack speed. You should be able to modify it. Like, so simple. Command block. Done. So if I can do that with a command block, they should easily be able to code that in. But what can you do? So obviously it's just business orientated. Rot is also... Been too long since I've done the statuses, I forget what they all do. Bane is over here. Poison... What damage does Poison 5 do? Ooh, I remember that. I signed up. How long has it been? That's the other issue, is just... Like, if there was a lot more community support, if they endorsed or partnered with Hytale, Hypixel, any of the community-run aspects, imagine how much good they could do. They completely shift development to players and still take a cut. But instead, they impede it. Because they want, obviously, on Bedrock, they want it just to be their servers. Realms, is it? But it sort of goes against the whole essence of what Minecraft was. It's meant to be this creative thing. Wow, Poison 4 does not do a lot of damage. Poison 5, right? Well, I guess it does once I'm out of regen. What's stupid? Come on, enlighten me. I'll just leave it as Venom. That's pretty much it for Poison as well. I don't have to add anything else to it. Same with Bolts. Bolt should just be... no, Gravity. The Sacred Bedrock Function, which is a bunch of really useful features with command blocks, but... Really? It's like a admin mode or whatever. Yeah, that's another reason why I hate Microsoft's Minecraft. Because they paywall so much. Like, skins should not be monetized. Like, I remember when, you know, playing Minecraft when it first came out, and you go to the skin forum, and there's such creative people doing, you know, awesome stuff, and it's all free. You like the look of a skin, you get it. The number of people who, you know, are famous for playing Minecraft, they didn't make their skins. Someone creative made their skins and didn't charge them. Hard to say if Notch would have really helped the development of the game. Because there's, like, obviously, the complexity of Minecraft has outgrown what any of the initial devs thought capable, and you can see that in the way it's built. Like, lots of people talk about how bad the game is built. Like, it was just meant to be this indie game. It wasn't meant to blow up like it was. Like, he has great ideas, but his implementation is not great. Granted, I do agree that he would probably handle the direction of the game far better. And he also would have made more money. Like, no idea why he took a quick paycheck. Like, if you were him, surely you'd just be thinking about how much you lost out on the continued success of Minecraft. Levitation. Yeah, so that's another issue. Like, there's 3 cycles of business. The first person creates the idea, the second person refines the idea, and then the third person refines the company. And unfortunately, that's what Microsoft is Microsoft is a third-generation company where all they care about is refining their company. That means, obviously, cutting out as many people as they can, reducing costs, and all these things rather than what's to the benefit of the game and the development of the game. What's a good rate of limitation? One second. 10. Need to go back into survival. Pretty sure this should kill me. No, it only did 3 hearts. Maybe 15. Am I quick enough? Ah, I am. 15. 1, 14. High particles. Impact, I'll leave, because I'm not too sure. This one's nice and easy, I just use the tag again. Instead of burn, we do chill. This is not in the right spot, is it? It is. But it's not, because this is impact. I am a very skeptical person. Granted, obviously everything they've shown, and they've done a decent job of publicizing as much as possible. If it launches, sure, it will be sensational. But I hate to think of it going in the way of like Cube World, where it's the concept or the hype around it is just too big at this point that it's unaccomplishable. Because that is a big thing that spoils a lot of content nowadays, is there is just too much hype. I really hope it doesn't. Like, I was excited when I first saw it. In fact, well, to be honest, I've completely forgot till you mentioned it now. Yeah, but the more you got, the more complicated things get. Like, there is a lot more that can go wrong within a team space, a design space. Bigger is not always better. But I definitely think, obviously, the team behind it has shown their capabilities before, so it should be successful. And it should be everything they're promising. I would assume they took a hit from COVID, like most things. But we'll see. when it eventually comes to light. Sulfur, probably the same. Well, this should actually not have frosts 4. Only have frost 1. But I do want powdered snow. Oh, right. I didn't realize the dev team was under management, so to speak. Yeah, right. Right hasn't done too many bad things. Smite? Smite is right, isn't it? What do they got? League of Legends, Valorant. No, not Smite. But still, LOL. LOL is big enough. Only problem then is monetization. Like, yeah, it's just such a weird concept. So like you think about the price of games, and then you think about the amount of stuff stuck in games compared to years ago and now. It's just they try to squeeze you for everything you got. Like it's almost a free game is worse than a paid for game because at least you know everything you're getting with a AAA spend $100 on a game that you now own. But I'll need to do some digging. I'll look into it after the stream. See what I can see about Hightail, where they're up to. I mean, there was that other one that a lot of the mine crackers, though they're not really a thing. That's the hope. But again, it's not always up to the dev team, which is sad to say. And it's also the longer it takes to come out, the higher chance of things being renegotiated and redetermined. Like, yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. Exactly how you said. We can Hightail is probably going to be be a better version of Minecraft, like Minecraft 2.0. And at the same time, we can also probably say, given the development time, because you got to remember, until they get out, all the costs are racking up and racking up. So, from a management side with Riot Games, I would be hard pressed not to think that they want a proper return on the game. So yeah, we can probably say it won't, but we can't say it will not. Okay, Void will leave. Sulfur. I mean, Sulfur is going to be burn. I could just use a better burn. Or that was definitely a thing you used to be able to say. Yes, the general trend is games that have upfront costs don't have long-term costs, but you can also see a lot of games moving to that model where they'll reduce the upfront cost with the assumption that they can now freely charge for, like cosmetics and stuff like that. I mean, optional stuff is always, it's not too big of a deal. And it's a good way for players to obviously support. Yeah. Bedrock's a great example. So obviously you have to pay for Bedrock and then you still get cosmetics and everything shoved down your throat. But it's not the be-all and end-all. As long as it's, it's not paywalling features. Like reskins and everything like that is acceptable. Lightning is done. We'll leave lock. Leave dark for now. Leave sound. Leave death. Okay, spectral's an interesting one. Actually, before we do, I just want to try Bolt. My worry is Bolt will summon more than one Lightning Bolt. It should just summon one at the point of contact. If it lands on the entity, I assume it will continue to summon, which we don't really want. I mean, granted, like damage-wise, he could only take one tick of it, because they all happen at the same time. I think we do need to clean that up. If it lands on him... Yeah, it causes way too much lag. I'm not gonna get this in time. Yep, there goes the game. Yeah, that's another thing. A lot of people obviously do hack stuff still. But then that's sort of led to them having the necessity to then charge more, blah, blah, blah. So essentially, the way all the effects run is it checks collision. I need to do this first. It checks collision, and then runs whatever effect. And the effect we were running was summon lightning bolts. Where's Smith Lighting? And so essentially the spell entity landed on the Iron Golem entity, and therefore just repeatedly triggered the lightning bolts for however long. And like it should continue to happen. I'll just have to keep reloading the world. Oh, no, it's rolled me back. Well, that's good to know. Let's fire. Yeah, it just means I have to make sure to kill the entity once it triggers once. That way it doesn't summon more than one lightning bolt. Which I thought I'd need to do. I was actually hoping that the lightning bolt would kill the entities I'm using for the spell. But because I'm using markers, did it? Also, we don't have the damage command, which is really annoying. Because the damage command would be so good for custom stuff. Instead, you have to use instant damage, instant health, which means you have to then blacklist living and undead mobs, because obviously they heal, they take damage. And it also means you have to work in the multiples of those spells, which is really bad because they scale so quickly, and it's so stupid why they do. Like, the first instant damage is 3, then 6, then 12, and it just keeps doubling, and it means if you were to use like anything greater than instant damage 3, you just kill any basic mob. So you can only have you can only really have 2 tiers of damage, either doing 6 damage or 12 damage. Sorry, 3, 6, or 12 damage. Okay, this should actually be executes at E tag equals bolt. C E equals lightning bolt. Distance equals 1. This should fix it up. But boss spawns aren't really as great as you think. I mean, yeah, they're good for like thematics, but they're not something you necessarily need. I mean, just a damage indicator all around would be greater, and obviously it's one of the biggest mods people use. I would definitely rather not have any boss bars and be able to custom input damage, because it honestly makes a lot of things more accessible, a lot more customizable. To be able to, for one, I could then really pick apart the damage on each spell, and range it from 1 to 10, and then I've got 10 ranges instead of 3 numbers, and then you can do this for. I mean, you could honestly like get away with so much more. Like if I put a particle effect on a sword and say it's a fire enchant, I could then make it do 1 extra damage. I could then put a blue fire particle effect on a sword and make it do 2 damage. And simply because I've got that damage difference, it makes the player, it is a separate ability, but it is only marginally scaled that allows me to just essentially trick people into thinking there's a lot more customization than there is. Okay. Fingers crossed. Execute at Seabolt if entity. I am going to head over there with the spell, but I will quit out before we do in case we crash again. Do you mean the hitbox outlines? So you mean that outline, or do you mean like effect give spectral glowing? You mean like that outline? Glowing, yeah. Pretty cool. Anyway, save out, save in. Okay. Lapis, almost forgot. Really? Glowing's not on Bedrock? Okay, it still hit twice, which isn't too bad. But it did do what we wanted. I mean, it landed on him too from that range. So it didn't crash the game, which is fine. I mean, I know there's like older effects that aren't across the two, but glowing's fairly new. I would have thought, because they've generally been good about making the features from current versions accessible. I guess its number is pretty low, looking at it. Yeah, no, not on Bedrock. That sucks. You also don't have luck. Dolphin's Grace. I mean, Dolphin's Grace is not a big one to be missing. Well, that sucks. This is a pretty useful one. Okay, so lightning works. That's good. What's this one? Right, that was burn. 4, burn 1. I probably want to add something else to it. Someone made an add-on. I shouldn't have to. Oh, it's not a huge thing. Ugh. We're leaving dark. This is sound. We're leaving sound. Death. Spectral. That was the one we wanted to work on. So this is going to have a similar issue. Oh, you know what? You know what could actually fix it? And make it reasonably timed. This one's lightning. This one. This messes up now. We just do unless entity at E type equals lightning bolts. Distance equals dot dots. Yeah, so if we do that with lightning, it should work a bit better. It should be able to resummon lightning bolts, and the particle should stay. But it shouldn't just spam it endlessly. It should only summon one each time a lightning bolt finishes. Yeah, and then there's still the particle effects, which I like better. It still summons a couple lightning bolts. That's fine. So that was this one. Long effect on blocks. It'll have to be. You'd have to summon a shulker in the block and then give it. Because there's no way to target this as an entity. Or, well, I guess you could do item frames all around. Or markers. Or, no. The simpler way would be summon a falling block, since that has the same spacing. Obviously, it doesn't. You'd have to get rid of the gravity and everything, and make sure that it doesn't turn into a normal block. That would be my assumption, if I was going to try and do that. Because you can like give it no gravity, you can turn off the AI. Pretty sure you can turn off the AI. If you can turn off for other mobs, it should be fine. Oof. Okay, more spectral is what I sort of want to do. Maybe camera shake. I don't think there's camera shake, no. But you can obviously just use nausea. I can also change these back. can't I give him a tag? Ah, here we go. Okay, so essentially, anytime the spectral spell collides, hyphen spectral, you want it to summon. Yeah, it's definitely something that isn't hacked into enough. Like even building, people think you obviously you need to show off these grand projects. But there are so many people that would rather discuss and look and learn how you get to that stage rather than just seeing the finished project. And it's great as someone working on these things too, because you can have discussion, you can get input. Heck, the most annoying feature of the spells, which I still think is obviously a good balancing thing of it costing Lapis, was just someone coming into my chat and giving me the idea. I definitely think more people should be open to showing the creative process. I mean, you've seen it take off with like just art, where people really enjoy seeing the process of people making art rather than just presenting the artwork. Okay, the other step of this is then need to actually kill the iron golems. I'm actually going to put it on this side. I'm actually going to put it here. Yeah, exactly. I remember when YouTube was like 24/7, just Bob Ross content. But not enough people do it. They still just think everyone only cares about the finished product. Where's... Here we are. Be annoying to copy. Let's just kill, add a tag, and then I put it in the MBT data. Well, no, I can get around this actually. I can do this simpler. I just, instead of golem, do spell. Yeah, because a lot of people want to be able to replicate things. And also, before we forget, we need the unless, so it doesn't just endlessly spawn iron golems. Which actually means I have to go back to using the other tag. Tag equals... Like, we're becoming a very educated society. Like, people think our attention spans are bad, but it's not. It's not our attention spans in these early generations. Sorry, late... Is that early or later? Anyway, from Gen Y onwards or so, we don't have bad attention spans. We want content that we can actually digest. If a content is just, an end product, we absorb it quicker. We have the understanding of how to use computers, so to speak, to make it simple. Like, our ability to learn and develop skills is better than the previous generation. And because of that, we digest finished content quicker, and we don't want that. It's not a lack of attention, it is just we're done with the content quicker than old school people. We don't, in their eyes, we don't appreciate it, but it's just we understand it at a quicker rate. And therefore we would rather see how you get to that stage than actually just the finished product. kill at E tag equals I golem tag equals spectral golem, and I must have copied. No. Oh right, there's 2 squares. Oh, it's active. The island golem lasts for 3 seconds, which I think is a bit too quick. Spectral. Ooh. Everything. They suffocated one another. I didn't realize that. I'm going to suffocate one another. So, where to start? One, there's no user feedback. So, for instance, if I pop down a command block, I can go through this list, which you can do in chat. Or what? I don't understand that. Why allow the player to do it in chat if you're not going to give it the utility in the command block? Second, the command block doesn't tell you if you type something wrong. So you have to like scroll through the syntax and figure out, especially on longer commands. 2, typing is just annoying. Not being able to tab, the way it functions. You can't. I think the arrow keys work, but there's something about it, I can't quite remember, where you can't go back and forward. You have to actually delete what you've typed and retype it. And then just the look. The look is horrible. Like, this down here is the perfect amount of space. It does not need to be this giant window on the left-hand side. How do I fix this? If I drop him on top... Oh, he's still going to suffocate. Let's try it with a husk. The idea is, it summons Iron Golem hits, I don't know, once or twice, and then gets killed. No. You're going to go over there. Fine, he's not going to attack back, so... Can go back. Alright, that's good. Must have just been my typo errors. And then you disappear. But there's 2 things about Adam. I don't like the kill command. You know what? I'm just going to drop them in the void. I think I'd rather do that than kill. That way you don't get drops, and that way it doesn't appear look. Yeah, it has this output window, right? That tells you what's wrong. But it's not as user-friendly as Java. TP. Yeah. I like this concept more already. What's... Oh, I can just make it. That's right. What's the void? And you can autofill in command blocks, but you can't see... Oh, so you can still tab to complete, but nothing pops up to actually tell you that you can tab to complete. That's just dumb. Why even implement that if you're not showing the list you can tab from? See, okay, so that just makes me hate them even more, because they have these features, but they don't demonstrate them well to the player. Also, I have a book in my hand. I can't take it out because I expect that. Yeah, whatever. Like, why half-ass it? Why just do half the work? Ugh. Especially if you could just, for the most part, you can just pull the development from Java, because it's already been done. Ah, damn it. I went too far. Do you know what the void is? Let's do it this way since we have nothing. Pretty sure -200 should be the void. Yeah. That was quick enough, doesn't matter. Oh, you keep your items if you die in Spectator. That's cool. Okay. So it just teleports them to 0 to 100, and then I don't have to worry about them. But the swings he gets off are still too many. And he disappears. What? Uh. So at 20, he doesn't get enough hits. $40? Maybe a second half. I just want it to be like one hit. I'm done. Perfect. So... Right, before it gets teleported because the effect runs out, you can actually see it. So I need to tweak it a little. I just have to teleport them away when the effect reaches like 1, rather than being empty. Yeah, I think that's to do with the ticks in like the priority of things happening. So if X things are loaded, that's going to function over the command block. Like the priority system is backwards compared to Java. So if there's just more things in your world, you run into the issues. Let's see if this works. It should run every tick, so I should be able to tell when it gets to 1. In fact, I'll just do it as 2 to make sure. One. No, okay, so it can't. Yeah, but then you also don't have all the other scoreboard features. Like you can't tie it into the actual statistics. Just like some of the best uses of the scoreboard is let the game do the math for you. Like that allows so many things. It allows for hit detection, yeah, death counts. Heck, that's how they do, you know, all the random loot stuff where you break a block and it becomes something else. You can do that all through scoreboard systems because you can literally detect when a player breaks X block. We can't detect the exact duration, which is a bit annoying. Can't really reapply it. That will be the same hassle. I think I just have to leave it. And if you get a glimpse of the Iron Golem, it's so well. Yeah, it's just... I don't know. It just goes back to the whole thing. It would be so simple. Like, you have to standardize everything. But you could just create a better draw to the different products if you actually gave them useful features across the board. Like, there's just so much more I can do with Java that I would never go back to using command blocks on Bedrock. That's fine. The one that's actually summoning it. Now, I'm only using tag. I'm curious why it's not working. Why it's not summoning an Iron Golem every time. Because the only unless is if there is a Spectral Golem. Maybe it's just not hitting. Because I have had some issues with collision. That one worked perfectly. This one I don't get. Do you somehow have the tag? No, you still only have dummy. That should be detecting collision with the Iron Golem and summoning one. I did that time. Didn't that time. It's also doing damage. I don't understand, because Spectral... Yeah, Spectral has no damage tags. At all. Unless it's... I guess it's summoning it. It has to be summoning it, and that's what's causing the suffocation damage. How? Yeah, I'm curious. How would you do the scoreboard data? Or, like, fuel and stuff? Because obviously, off the top of my head, I can straight away go to just use the statistics. If they have X items on them, or, you know, use X items, dropped X items, picked up X items, times used. That would be the simplest way for me to think about, you know, requiring resources for anything. Like, they have to drop X fuel, and I can just use the statistics, the scoreboard statistics. So how would you go about it? Or how are you going about it, I should say? You have 4. If you turn the power up, power delays up, it gets used quicker. Okay, so you're using, like, set items. And then you can set a score for each element that way. Ooh, do I try this? Do I get rid of the unless? I'm gonna get rid of the unless for a second. But but then that also means you have to do everything accurately. And you have to also think up all the fail-safe ways. Like if a player tampers with something or does something slightly wrong, you have to account for all those issues. So this should have the same issue as the lightning bolt. Yeah. The only good thing is... Nope. I was gonna say, the only good thing is they should all teleport away. But they just keep hitting each other, and it's summoning more and more. Yeah. They're just endlessly multiplying. I need to kill them quickly. I'd rather use the pegs for my dummy stays. Did I use capitals? I don't know how long before this causes issues. Oh, it's alright. There was only 2,517 of them. I'm sure we could have handled a little bit more. Or, because I just want like a chain. So if you shoot a bunch of mobs, it summons like an iron golem each time. Oh well. Better to do what's safe than to let that go. So back to Armless. I copied it, didn't I? Yeah. Distance equals... Well, actually I can do like half a block. I can just make a smaller requirement. This should still summon... This should summon 2. We might summon more on the Iron Golem. I can't tell how many's there. Oh, he's gone. They're gonna cluster up though. It's the issue. Oh, they got summoned a bunch. So that I like. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want on this spell. So if there's like a ton of entities, you use Spectral. And it's like an Armada. And then they will disappear. Only issue is they're getting in too many attacks. So I need to tweak it again and reduce the timing. So I obviously don't want it OP where it just, you know, can kill something. 20 didn't work. We'll try 30. Maybe I should decrease the cast time as well. Compensate. That was a bit better, but they still wiped everything out. I mean, 1 second should let them attack. This also does mean you need to hit everything. Perfect. 1 survived. I think that's as best as I can do it. It just summons an Iron Golem, they hit. Well, actually no, it's continuously summoning because of him, because they're being pushed out. Which is also decent. So for instance, if I shoot it from closer so it doesn't land on the Iron Golem, it should summon far less. Yeah, it only summons a couple. In which case, I can increase the time again. Yeah. It's also troublesome. So they're not teleporting right away because of the ones that get hunger from the husk. So if you give them a potion effect, they'll last, which we don't want either. Just means that I need to take this again. Paste it in here, but get rid of the duration. Blacklist it. So, yeah, as long as they don't have that effect, then it should work and it should clean up the Iron Golems. They should all teleport away. Okay, that was interesting. When it teleported them away. It's just the collision boxes? There's too many like ground items. Kill the husks. Yeah, I've done that way too many times. Like the fact that you have to click done. Like, I kind of get why, because usually escape is cancel, but it would be nice if escape was tied to done instead of cancel. Like just trying, like copy and pasting. That was weird. Copy and pasting, obviously, just so I don't have to move the mouse or anything. I can just right click, copy, paste, escape. But obviously you can't. So I have to move down and click done. Yeah, I can see why you hate it. Yeah, that's the counter argument. Back up to 40. Don't know why they're getting like sort of stuck. Well, actually I do know why. Because obviously it's hitting the Iron Golem and not being pushed out. So because he's taking the hit damage, I guess it's not loading the particles. It's kind of weird. I mean, it wasn't happening before. I think I edited something wrong. They must be stacking them again. The only thing I can think of. Right, if I pressed 1, Little Golem, summon, blah blah blah. Little Golem. Right, I'm out of lapis. Boy, do you need a lot of lapis. What? Why? What's going on? It was working beautifully before. And I have no idea what I've done. Like, visually it was perfect. And I've ruined it. Has to be this. Yeah, it's summoning way too many. They exist, but they have no AI. There's ways to give them the zombie AI, but they're like buggy. Their body or their head doesn't move. They're just incomplete. You can still summon them, like if you just do summon. Right? Yeah. See, giant is still there. Just head down. But he won't have any intelligence or whatever. I think they still take burn damage. They might not. Summon giants. Yeah, so they always face a certain way. They don't track the players. They don't care about villages or anything. You still count as an entity, though. Wonder if Iron Golems want to kill them. They do. That should be about the right spacing. Oh, I did work, but your hitbox is down the bottom. I'd like to get a chicken. Although I know it won't hit the chicken. Oh, your hitbox is very weird. All in all, they're like way too clunky to use. I could do something dumb. I could just give them every particle effect, and just set it to the same time as their invisibility, and just give it a high amplification. And that way, they can't be given anything over the top of that. Well, no. Well, yes, no, sorry. If it's a high enough amplification, then it doesn't matter if the duration is higher. It shouldn't replace it. I wish Invulnerable made them unable to receive other stuff. Anyway, what is going on? Why is this not working? If entity distance ... 1 tag spectral unless entity spectral golem ... 1 run summon iron golem spectral golem, that's all typed correctly. Active effects 46, that's all fine. And then this one is just as long as they don't have an active effect. Ooh, custom fireworks. Is that just to do with like the particle command? And if so, do you do like a particle block for each number? So, well, with like data packs, you can shape them a bit better. Oh, we're just going to make it 0.5. I hate this concept of moving it a little bit, but it should prevent collision. Man, it's cool. So you just like executed at the fireworks entity and then summoned. But it's so much more where they're like spread out. Maybe I can give it a little bit of height to make them pop out. The problem is when the collision hits perfectly, it gets like trapped inside. Ah, okay. So very similar to how I do like boat TNT. Okay, so that's kind of worked. It didn't really get pushed out. I guess it's doing the job. Let's see what happens if we summon a bunch of husks again. Perfect. Back to how we want. I'm just going to decrease the timer again. Not 20, maybe 30. Still need to figure out a way to stop them having effects. The iron golems also have like is angry, like wolves, so that I can make it attack everything. They do. So I can give them an angry timer. But I doubt... Well, we'll see. Because I don't think unless I set the target, it's not going to work as I would like. Anger. Time. Oh, that's not the right thing. Was it between 400 and 800? 800 is like the max, I guess. No, it's anything we want. Well, I just make it the same as a tick. We'll just make it 100. So it should make it... might attack anything. But it probably won't because it doesn't have the angry at. Yeah. Oh, well, it was worth a shot. Well, I could double it. You can, sort of, through feedback looping. So, for instance, if you use, like, execute at. No, that would still be 2 commands, I'm trying to think. You'd have to use execute at if, and then itself, and then that would allow you to summon multiple, and then you just put a limit on it. So, it would be like, so execute at entity tag equals dummy. So this is the iron golem over there, that's what tag he has. If if entity type equals iron golem, and then we set a limit. So once it summons 3, for instance. No, sorry, you'd use unless. Nope, because that doesn't work, because the limit is, you can't set it to be a cap. So if entity, blah, 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 limits. So I get what I mean, like, you can cheat it out. Granted, it's just easier to run multiple command blocks. But essentially, it will summon until it reaches that cap. The only issue is you would need 2 command blocks. You need one to summon the first entity, and then the loop to feedback the other one. Okay, that's cool. It would work in better. I guess items would be the easier way. And then, yeah, you just count up to however many entities you want, and that's like the toggle for the command. It's technically, because it's still only going to summon 1 every tick, so it's still only 1. It would be, or you can use passengers. I think there's a way to dismount them instantly. I'd have to look at the NBD data. Yeah, you could use passengers, that's the other way. I think if you summon an item, so summon item, and then give it passengers, because the item can't actually have passengers, it will allow you to, like, they'll dismount and spread out straight away. I'm curious now, let's test it. How do I do passengers again? It is PASSENGERS. Then square brackets, perfect, and then in here you can do as many entities as you want. And it's just the ID. Minecraft.task. There is a way to stack them on one. Not like this, apparently. But yeah, so it summons a husk, and then obviously, because there's no item, he's free to do whatever he wants. I know you can stack them. So I've done it with one of my bosses. Like, have them all on the one spot, rather than spread out. But then again, this method wouldn't work on Bedrock, because you can't use NBD data. But I always like figuring out if they actually work. But this one. Where is passenger? Very long. And item name. This is the drops. Count, hand drop, passenger. Alright, passengers. So, ID Silverfish. Then he has a bunch of items. Da, 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 da. Yeah, it's just curlies. I don't know why. I guess it only works in the command block? This is a second silverfish that's not within a new passenger bracket. So they're all clustered into the same position. Okay, with Spectral, I could do one other thing. I could make this only summon at hostile mobs, or undead mobs, I should say. Well, no, I'd have to make a new blacklist to make it hostile mobs. Because right now this spell wouldn't do anything against players, but I could use the same method instead of doing Spectral Golem. I could, do like Wither Skeletons, Spectral Wither Skeletons, Spectral Vindicators, Guardians, Husks. Yeah, it'd have to be a hostile mob. One of my choices. So, along with Iron Golems, I could do like Warden. I think that'd be too excessive. Enderman? No, but again, I can't make him aggro. Nothing really has the height. Zoglin? Zoglin's not a bad one. It's aggressive to everything, isn't it? When is Zoglin attacks Piglin, blah blah blah. I'm pretty sure Zoglins attack anything inside. I mean, let's just try it. See what it looks like. Zoglin. The anger type shouldn't matter. It'll just be destroyed. Alright, Mindstone. You know what? I might as well go crazy. And just have it summon 3 different entities. Have it summon like Iron Golem, Zoglins, and something else. Would look cool. Can't be anything that burns. Actually, I'm surprised that a Zoglin doesn't burn in the overworld. Does it? Is it just because it's invisible? Oh, they don't burn. Interesting. So Zoglins, Iron Golems, and what? Spiders? Bees? Don't need to be something less bulky. I do like this idea. But I will be back too. I'm gonna get a drink. Big cats.